Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and man, the Washington Post is feeling the heat. Its boss, Jeff Bezos, is showing up to work for the first time in years to make all the Taylor Lorenzes, all the liars, all the fake experts over there at the Washington Post sweating. I got Nate, the lawyer, here. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing all right. Just, another day, another battle, but, it is what it is. And I'm glad to see the Washington Post is finally being held to task for something, because this fake expert stuff they're doing is crazy.
Well, I thought it was perfect you were available because I was going to report on this because obviously the Washington Post, if you guys don't recall, is the one that posted the op-ed in the first place and then still refused to really remove or properly correct. They did a byline at a certain point, I think, because they legally did whatever the minimum they had to do. But, Taylor Lorenz over there has done so much bad reporting, in my opinion, put so many doxed and put so many people in crosshairs that shouldn't have been. They just aren't very genuine anymore. They're in their own sort of ethos path. They think their truth. And I think the public is finally wising up. And so to see that Jeff Bezos himself is showing up to the meeting yesterday, put everybody at unease. Jeff Bezos made a surprise appearance at the Washington Post editorial meeting on Thursday for the first time in over a year. His attendance in person sparked fear among staff about the severity of upcoming layoffs by the newspaper, which he bought in 2013 with ambitions to drive it into the digital era. In recent years, the Washington Post has suffered dwindling ad revenue, a decline in site traffic, and a shortage of new subscribers. Last month, its publisher, Fred Ryan, announced that layoffs were coming in the new year. Despite his suggestion the cuts would likely only affect a single-digit percentage of the 2,500-person workforce, the news triggered a frenzy among staff, and the paper's union membership grew. Its union guild said that now has 670 members, roughly 67% of those eligible, and has 60% of those joined since the announcement in December. Staff has been provided with little information about the layoffs, and last month the Amazon CEO refused to comment on them, which meant his visit on Thursday only heightened panic. Look, I've worked in some of these places, these corporations. Yeah, when the billionaire shows up to work, Nate, you bet your butt you better start sweating. There are about to be some serious heads rolling, and it's hard to not assume that this isn't going to be, like it said, about the revenue, about the traffic. Their strategy is no longer working. These journalists, Nate, feel like they're Teflon, that they can't be stopped. I'm talking about the Taylors, the Cats, all of them. They're just out there putting garbage out and just saying that they're the ones telling you guys the truth. And more people are realizing, no, they're the problem. Now I want to get to, we have some updates with Nate here, and I want to get to his some updates about the Buzbee lawsuit, et cetera. But well, it's good you're here because aside from the fake experts, which I want you to go on to, I mean, you subscribe this too, like this journalism of the Washington Post is no longer something we can trust. Do you agree?
I agree 1,000%. And I think that's the issue, because right now, a lot of people don't realize there's a battle going on between us at the social media, I call us independent journalists, versus the mainstream media. And that battle is that more people trust us to report the news than them, right? More people are trusting me than Cat 10 Bars. More people are trusting me than Taylor Lorenz and the Washington Post. So we have that battle. And now that I think when it comes to the Washington Post, those articles are too long. And now the fact that we now know that they use fake experts like Christopher Buzbee. They've written like 3 or 4 articles using Christopher Buzbee's expertise. And we all know that report that he put out about Meghan Markle was a joke, was literally a joke. And we read it here on this stream. So the Washington Post, for instance, I think they've lost the credibility of the audience. And this is just some way to try to fix that, because don't forget, digital media and the independent journalists, people like us, are able to give you the stories and the facts behind the stories without the spin. And if you want the spin, you go to the Washington Post. But I think after the Johnny Depp trial, people realized how much spin was in the news. I think a lot of people didn't realize how much spin, because when it came to Johnny Depp, it didn't come down to if you're a liberal or conservative. It just came down to, did you watch the trial? And anybody who watched the trial came out to the same conclusion: Amber Heard is a liar, or AH is a liar. But the Washington Post and the NBCs and the Cat 10 barges were trying to spin a different narrative. And I think that let everyone know that, hey, this is not a place where I want to give money to give me news. That's a place I want to give money to if I want to get a narrative. And that's what I think is hurting their bottom line. Until they get rid of the Taylor Lorenzes and the Cat 10 barges, they're never really going to have that credibility again.
Well, it's true. It's like, honestly, it's shocking to me that the Taylors and the Cats haven't just tried to attend to make their own thing like we've done. Like the reality is, like, there's independent journalism now. I guess, yeah, that's what we're doing here, and we're funded by the fans directly. Yes, we have YouTube revenue that helps in addition, but it's clearly our supporters. And thank you guys for supporting people like Nate, myself, Steph, and Lewis, and everybody. Like we can't do it without your support. In fact, I got to remind you not only to donate, but just subscribe. They're just trying to desubscribe folks like crazy. So hit that bell, smash that like, be part of this community. Leave your comments down below. Hit the super thanks if you haven't to Nate's videos, my Nate videos. It's a little 3 little dots you'll see. You can literally support on videos you like. Your comment will be super comment. That's what keeps us going. And yeah, we asked for it because without it, we can't keep doing this. And we are up against the pockets of Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post. And that's the bottom line here. It's like, really, is he to be trusted in his angles? And so now when apparently, right, Jeff Bezos brings on the Washington Post and believes he's doing the news correctly, like the proper way, etc. But views are down, subscriptions are down. We got to pivot our news because it's not making money. That's what it's ultimately all comes down to. Whether Taylor and Kat, they're all obsessed with our salaries, Nate, and how much we make. At the end of the day, I guess it's really, we're making more than them, I guess, because the Washington Post is starting to really sweat it. And why? We're then left to sort of speculate and assume, but I have to believe it's like Nate said, here was Newsweek reporting on Meghan Markle's, fueled the algorithm of the hate. And then Newsweek had to post another article to prove that Twitter themselves was like, no, there's no evidence of this widespread, over 50% referenced in Buzbee's report. Our team took action on 4 accounts, the violation, spam, meaning that many of these accounts are in fact run by unique individuals. There's no evidence of a widespread coordination. Here is Twitter itself debunking this nonsense report that Buzbee put together, as you said, and you're still going toe to toe with him. It's like wild. I see it today. Buzbee's out there as the fake expert, which he is, and he's fueling these media outlets like Washington Post and Cat and others with data that helps their narrative. That's what's happening here. And that's what made him successful for a while, until folks like Nate and us began to really peel back the layers to expose him for what he is, a charlatan, in my opinion. Good Lord, the unemployed YouTube lawyer made another video about me today that makes 20 videos and counting, not joking. It's actually really disturbing. He's behaving like an obsessed ex-lover, wanting attention. We all go, little Matt Simmons. This is the irony of that statement where it's like, he started it. Like, if he had just left you alone and not been the jilted ex-lover himself, he might have been able to still get away with this, but he unnerved you and offended you in a way that was just worthy of you. Like, what is this guy actually doing in the first place? And you've really called it out. But my God, what a joke. I thought he's the digital expert, Nate. How is he? You're unemployed. Does he not know that you're probably making more money from him just from your YouTube activities?
One thing he doesn't understand. Well, I think he does, right? He works on Twitter. And, I'm not counting all the tweets that he tweets about me on Twitter. I work on YouTube. Now, he's tried YouTube. Now, think about how stupid this guy is that he's telling us, he writes these reports saying how much money YouTubers are making off of Meghan Markle and Amber Heard, right? How they're funding this. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. He said something like that. I think Tug was making almost $1 million a year, right? Look at all this money they're making. And then he comes back and says, they're unemployed YouTubers. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't put out these reports that are covered by Washington Post saying that these people are making so much money, and then on the back end saying, oh, they're unemployed YouTubers. No, that doesn't work. And the thing with Buzbee is that I think he's obviously jealous. He's jealous because, think about it. I got degrees. He pretends to have degrees. I am an expert in the law. He pretends to be the expert in stuff, right? When I write reports, nobody says these are fake reports. When he writes reports, these are obviously fake reports, right? So there's a problem, I think, with Buzbee wanting to be me and wanting to actually be credentialed and have evidence, right? I don't have to lie. I got 3 degrees, right? I got an associate's, a bachelor's, and a law degree, right? I got a license. So, and I think seeing a black man like Buzbee, who doesn't have to lie, who doesn't have to lie about his credentials, who has that type of stuff, I think that's the thing that really forces him to, because that exposes him. That exposes him where you don't have to. And I want to say it this way. I think sometimes the media is holding up Buzbee as this expert because he is black and because they want to show a black face who's in this position of authority and who's in this position of being an expert. And I think they saw black and said, this is great for that narrative. But instead of just reading the material, instead of reading what he wrote, instead of doing just the simple research and saying, well, hey, it's great to have a black expert, but is this guy really even an expert? And I think they didn't ask that second question. And now they're all caught up in this. And that's why I think the Washington Post is having their issues. That's why I think all these other news organizations who we are contacting are going to have this issue, because it's obvious that this guy was not an expert. These reports were just a joke. And the credibility that the news media gave him is the problem, and now they can't now come and say, well, we want to be trusted news sources when Buzbee is your trusted source. That just doesn't make any sense.
No, and I'm glad you said, because I was going to bring it up. Like, to me, he makes this about color. I don't know why but he's out there for years. If you Google it, like, black CEO calls 50 Cent opportunistic. Like, that's how he was known before he could get more of this data to justify his next expert handle. He's an opportunist, Christopher. He does whatever he wants. And then I just feel like he used that, the color of his skin, as sort of the way to get in as an expert, right, to help get that out there. And then I feel like he was using that against you in a way. He was being racist himself, and then trying to call you a crackhead and stuff. Like, it's just really weird. Like, why would he go and attack you if he's trying to stand up for, powerful black creators and entertainers? Like, he makes no sense. It almost feels like he's just he's a complete opportunist for whatever he can use to get him one layer up that ladder, right? Whatever he's going to be able to use, he's going to use it to his advantage and then play victim and everything else. It's just disgusting to watch this guy. And again, bringing it back full circle, that just the disgusting ways he was attacking you and attacked the Royals, which he's saying Meghan, he's just a complete hypocrite. The fact to know that, like, Washington Post was using this guy as their expert is, to me, the clear reason for why this downfall is happening. People just don't trust them anymore. They've been tricking us for clicks and views. And, we all get a little clicky at times. Like, I'm the first to admit, I will make my titles a bit more clicky, but I will never lie in my titles. Like, my titles are never going to be a lie. And to me, the definition of clickbait is you're lying. You're bringing them in with a lie, and you don't even give them what you said, right? But sometimes you can add the question marks and the exclamation points to get them there, because the reality is, because of mainstream media, the audience is used to it. They don't click on shit unless it's super salacious and what? It's a frustrating world we live in. Do you feel that way too, Nate? Do you, like, when you put out something serious, sometimes I know I've done it, I don't get the clicks on it unless I put a little bit of, exclamation to it or a caps to try and get them to, like, ooh, what? And then they'll listen more because they think they're doing it. I feel like the media has created this narrative and now is annoyed that we know how to sort of play it better. Hey, big, look at this, what? And then you come in, you listen to us actually get informed research and insight and stuff. Do you feel that way too?
Well, it's that old adage. Remember, dog bites man is not news. Man bites dog is the news, right? So I think that is that's the type of thing that we're living in, right? The most salacious thing that gets you. That's the thing that they want to portray. But I also think, no matter how salacious your titles are and even your thumbnails, if you pay people off, if they know, like, when they come to my channel, you see my thumbnail. If I say something, in my video, that's going to be out there. And I definitely agree 110% that sometimes when you want to get into issues that aren't as salacious, that are more intellectual, less people want. But I think that's just with any content. But I do think the news media itself has driven this whole clickbait narrative to where you have literally an expert who has no credentials in the field, who just said, hey, there's a coordinated hate campaign. And Twitter comes out and says, that's false, that's fake, that's a lie. And they still run. The Washington Post and all of them still run with that story, because you know why? Because they know people will want to click on it. And again, I have a whole spreadsheet of all the news organizations who ran with that story. And when they ran with that story, they ran with it. Damn the facts. Damn the fact that this report was overturned. Damn all that. You know what? The only thing we want you to click on this story, and we're not going to tell you what the truth is. We're going to tell you what we want you to hear, so you can click again.
Yeah, I mean, it's so well said. This is a lie. This is a lie. This is literally a lie, and there's no update in this article. Now, they did another article to, tell the truth here, but they still haven't even updated this article, which was, I guess, this early 5:30 a.m. on the 27th, and then at 10 a.m. they just did a separate article where they showed Twitter saying no.
Yeah.
So they literally have left this lie up, and they do it all the time. Washington Post has done it all.
And
Has done it a
Washington
ton.
Post
Taylor
hasn't
Lorenz has done horrific reporting. We had Ariadne on and just shows just how awful the hit pieces she can do to destroy people's lives based off of just an allegation or a hearsay or whatever it is. They don't care anymore, Nate. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was saying, and Twitter, I'm not Twitter, and the Washington Post have not corrected the fact that Buzbee's report is all made up. Neither has Huffington Post, neither has BuzzFeed. Literally, all these news organizations who now know that Twitter said this report is fake are still reporting it as truth. And matter of fact, Buzbee was on a live stream the other day, and the host was saying, "Hey, this report that you did was so fantastic," not telling the audience that it's been refuted. It's a fake report, you know. So, but again, as long as the media is right now is in protection mode. They are trying to protect themselves over giving you the correct information. And we don't have that luxury. If I sit here and give you fake information, I got to come out and tell you, hey, this was wrong. I made a mistake.
Yep.
Because that's the type of trust that we have with you, where if we make mistakes, we tell you our mistakes. But now look at this with Buzbee. He's made this mistake, and now I'm telling you shit. Part.
Not only that, but then they're not even telling their staffers. I find this.
Staff has some questions right now.
Your staff has some questions. This was after a town hall.
Because we're journalists, you should answer them because we're a news organization that values transparency.
Hey, you know, reason values transparency is the only opportunity, and then the.
No, you have multiple opportunities. As representatives of the Guild, we have representatives from the Post. You meet every week, you're meeting tomorrow. We don't
This is a town hall. This isn't only about the Guild.
Turn the town hall into a grievance session for the Guild. I'm sorry. Thank you.
A grievance session. They're literally like, "Are you firing us all?"
What are you going to do to protect people's jobs? Are they going to be treated like the magazine staffers were? Are you going to try and prioritize?
The magazine staff is going already too.
Is this You seem to be disrespecting this room. You are disrespecting
He just walked away. He just walked away.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, he just walked away, and that, you know, Taylor Everett. But now, not as if it couldn't get worse for Washington Post. Yet today, Bezos came in there, and I guess it was yesterday. People don't know what to make of it. During the meeting, Bezos remained fairly tight-lipped as he sat next to the Post top editor in a glass-windowed office. I'm delighted to be here and see all these faces. Thank you for allowing me to listen in. Yeah, guys, that's not a positive meeting. It's not a positive meeting.
No, that's not a positive
meeting. He's just there to help, Nate, you know, to really encourage the team to see how the good work they're doing. Oh no, Bezos doesn't just show up off his super yachts to come watch the daily editorial meeting unless he's got some serious questions about the editorial. Now, again, we're speculating it's about the fake experts and all the other, but I think it's about the low traffic. There's not making revenue. That's always what it is about. And at the end of the day, what's that going to mean? It just shows you it's all about the money. These journalists are also about the money. They want to come at us and come at our salaries, Nate, and make a big deal. Yeah, well, now you're in trouble because you didn't make enough money. Is that why you were coming at us? I wonder, you think that's why they're coming at the cats and everybody? They're all trying to come after us because they're just trying to get us to engage, to get a little bit of our audience so they come click and hate click on their stuff. I really think that's what it's about. That's why I really try to say the cat and Taylor's names less, because I don't want to keep funneling people over there even to hate click them. You know what I mean? But final thoughts on all this. What do you think?
That's the reason why they write stories to interact with us. Think about this, people. When I do a video that gets 400,000 views, that's more than they'll get on any of their articles, right? People may see their articles, but nobody's reading that stuff. So they need us to respond to them. Kat Tenbarge, right? And most people wouldn't even know who the hell she was, and unless she started making this fuss about Johnny Depp and all this stuff and coming at us. So the problem is that most people, I think, now who watch our stuff understand two things. Number one, you understand these media organizations are in it just like we're in it. They're in it to make money. And the criticism that Kat Tenbarge, Buzbee, and what's her name, Taylor Lorenz, all make is that they're doing this for the money. So my question to them is, why don't they quit what they're doing and do it for free? Write those articles and do it all for free. Don't get any money. Just quit your job, stand for it, and do it all for free. Go do something else, but write your stuff for free and don't get paid for any of the research, the development, and the articles that you write. They would say, first thing they would say, well, that's not fair. We got to make a living. Yeah. You know how you make your living? Because somebody's telling you what to write. Somebody's telling you what to do. No one tells us what to write. No one tells us what to do. And you know what happens?
The audience does. The audience tells me.
And the one thing that people can understand and trust is that when I try to give you something and when I present something to you, It's well researched, and I'm giving you the facts. And if I make a mistake, you're going to know it. And if I do, and if I don't, you're going to be able to send that to somebody else and trust it. And you can't do that with a Washington Post article, because if you did that with their article about Buzbee, you would literally be sending out fake information, misinformation. And yes, we get paid, but they also get paid. And I think and I'm going to say this. I think the issue is they're upset because we get paid more than them. That's the problem.
I know. I kept thinking, well, no, she must make a lot of money, but I think they're making a lot. They're not making a lot of money at all. But yeah, and then the reality is, like, our boss is the audience. They really live or die. Our videos live or die on what they do. We always are reporting for them, and we got to be honest to them and keep our reports honest to them, or else, they'll leave, and that's their right. And that's how it works on here. And if Kat or Taylor wanted to make their own thing and they were doing it independently, I wouldn't be really focusing on them as much. It's the fact that they are working for NBC, Washington Post. These are real big journalistic, organizations that carry a lot of weight, or at least they used to. And it's just scary to see this all out there. Anyway, I always love talking to you. We banked this. I'm not going to be live today, guys, so at least hopefully this gave you a little chunk of some entertaining. Make sure you also go support Nate the Lawyer. Go support him. Guys, I want to show you how to do it. You can do it on this video. Here's a Nate the Lawyer video. You go over to the dots, you click the super thanks, and then look at that. You can tip them. You can tip them up to $500. Who's going to go be a baller and tip on this video or Nate's videos? $500. Heck, we'll take $5, whatever it is. But you guys, if you like this, if you made it this far, consider going to supporting us. That's how you do it. Go subscribe, at least hit the button for likes and for hearts and the bell. There's so many damn buttons that make you click over here to keep us on your algorithm, but we appreciate you guys for doing it. Nate, always a pleasure. Enjoy your weekend, sir. And to the rest of you as well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.